Hi everyone, welcome to the IT podcast. I am really pleased to have with me Tim from the Crown Lodge. Tim was one of the first customers at Uptech that I actually got to speak to, and I get on really well with Tim. I love his food, and Tim's agreed to come on and have a chat with us. So good morning, Tim. How are we?
Morning, James. Yeah, I'm well, thank you. I'm well. Thanks for having me.
Good. No problem at all. So I'm going to do the first bit. Now, why the Crown Lodge? Don't forget, I used to live in the village, so I know the Crown Lodge. I know that it's a good premium, really good premium hotel and restaurant.
Yeah,
that's how we used to see it when we were in the village.
Yeah. I think we've always had our signature stamp of quality. We've always just tried to do things well, and I think we've never tried. We never looked to cut corners. I think that's why we've managed to stand the test of time. Just doing the basic things, but doing them well. We're not trying to be, fancy all the time. We do a lot of simple stuff, but just do it as good as we can. From simple food to fine dining. It's just trying to tick every box that we can.
Yeah, no, like I know I said it only just a few minutes ago, but obviously during lockdown I've had a couple of really good meals from what you've done with the takeaway and the meals in the box. They were outstanding. They were.
Thank you.
That I'm not just saying that, and just so everyone's aware, I have got no kickbacks. I haven't got any discount. I'm not after that. The food was just fantastic. The way it was set out, the way it's presented was done, as you said, done properly and done well.
Yeah, I think we just try and make sure that there's you're not just picking up a takeaway for us. I mean, that was how we could adapt in these climates you weren't just picking up a meal, you were picking up an experience.
Yeah.
We tried to make everything, talk to each other, that delivered that experience, whether it be from the service through the door or on the phone, to the actual collection, to the packaging, to the actual product, or the follow-up service. And we just try and make sure that it's, encompasses everything that we've always tried to do in the restaurant, really. So we just try and, even though we might just do a signature crown burger as a takeaway, it's just done with a bit more love and attention in every area that we can make.
Yeah.
Well.
So the one thing I haven't had the chance to do yet, Tim, is actually eat in the restaurant, and I can't wait to have that chance. And I'm guessing you approach that in the same way.
Yeah.
So that's why the takeaway's done in that way, is because that's the way you approach it in the restaurant.
Yeah, it was really hard moving into that takeaway industry because it's always something that we've done, but never been a focus. So we really had to sort of shift our mindset into doing something totally different, but still to try and give that signature stamp with it. But yes, we can't wait to get back to doing what we know best.
Yeah.
In the restaurant side. And again, it's just about we constantly just try and encourage that friendly atmosphere, but just done to a high standard. That's what we miss.
Yeah. And obviously you've adapted really well with the pandemic. Have you managed your without wanting you to give away too much information, but you're coping okay as a business? And yeah,
we set a goal when we first went into the first lockdown, and there was a lot of pressure, and a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of worry, and a lot of weight on our shoulders. We just decided to open. We weren't sure whether that was a way forward or not, but we decided to continue opening. We had a goal of just to try and survive it, and we wanted if we could get to the end of that period, where we hadn't created a massive amount of debt from trying to be open or trying to be closed, then that was a win for us, and so we achieved that. We've not come out with our pockets lined. It's been an expensive process, but it probably would have been a lot more expensive just to close the doors. So we're glad we did it, and by opening as well, we managed to touch base with a lot more new customers. We found some people that didn't know about us before. We initially did a lot of food deliveries as well. In the first lockdown, we took sort of fresh produce deliveries around to local houses. There's some vulnerable that we even did some Tesco shop for them. We just tried to adapt as a service that if we could offer to some people, then that was great. And so we brought them along with us now, and they're considered some of our best customers. So it's been a great eye opener and an opportunity to see things differently.
Excellent. No, yeah, I know that you're part of the community there, in Upwell, which is fantastic. But I suppose, what got you into the hospitality trade?
I've grown up in it.
Right?
I'm second generation in this business. So my parents obviously were here from day one. Petrol station, cafe, and a car showroom, and they developed it into what it was. I came on board about 22 years ago.
Right.
So I was sort of fresh out of nappies, but I enjoyed it. Something, I guess, by living in it and sort of breathing it, you've either got that or you haven't, I think, in catering. And yeah, the tough bits and the hard bits are the bits that you sort of become to enjoy. And
yep.
So yeah, always been a part of me. And so I traveled away about 12 years ago, did some time in New York, and I learned a lot there, and then came back to Cambridge and did a bit of the Forte Post House, and then came back to my roots again, and carried on where we are.
Excellent. And obviously, I know the business has changed and adapted through time as well, because you've got the rooms.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just but you're also looking at the conferencing side, which is something that we've spoken about. You've got the restaurant, you've got the bar, you've got the takeaway service. Is there more of a focus on any area of the business, or is it sort of the whole thing all in one go?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're constantly just adapting and seeing the opportunities and the pitfalls as we go along. We learn from our mistakes, as well as hopefully reach some benefits. But the drive is obviously been a lot more around the bedrooms of late. Obviously, going into sort of the pandemic, it helped us realise the value in those rooms, and the support it gave to the rest of the business. Conferencing as well was another key area that we suddenly realised that we weren't quite delivering on the facilities that we had. So we saw that as an opportunity to invest in and to do things better. So there's some great stuff's going to happen there. And then we're always looking for that sort of 5-year plan of how we can grow the business. We're talking with a gym owner locally that's hopefully going to come on board and have his second site here.
Oh, excellent.
So we'll hopefully by the end of this year, we'll be looking at potentially having some form of a gym or a PT sort of studio as a facility for residents.
I'll be moving back to Upwell soon.
Not that far away now, it still can be done.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is true. So I suppose the one thing I don't want this podcast to do is to be a sales pitch for Uptech. This is about talking about showcasing you and your business, and having a good chat. But obviously, you've worked with Uptech for a number of years now, and I know you get on well with the team.
Yeah. And
I suppose, what is it that Uptech do well for you?
So I'm terrible with computers, or I think I am. I don't have the confidence of really knowing. I can switch them on. Sorry. I can switch them on. And I'm able to to do the basic stuff, but to have any confidence in, you know, sorting problems and moving the business forward with IT. We've always needed a good amount of support other than just, you know, keeping the PC safe. And I think Uptech for me is a bit like finding a, you know, a really good tradesman that you work with. You know, you don't, once you've found a great builder, you don't tend to shop around every time you need a brick wall putting up. You just phone the same guy every time because you know you can trust him and work with him. I probably shouldn't say this online. With all of our trades that we work with, we have a principle of never asking for a price in advance as far as, you know, what's going to cost us to do a job. We have the absolute faith in them as trades to do the job well, and to not try and lift our leg, because it would obviously be, you know, it happened once and you know, that'd be the end. So, and I see Uptech as a similar kind of area to that, really, is that, you know, we're not always looking for the cheapest product out there when it comes to something like IT, but the reassurance of a team that I know and trust. And you know, I've worked with you guys and several of the names that have stayed with the company, which again is another good quality that I always think of.
Yeah.
And you just know that they treat us more like you know, an extension of their business than a cash cow.
And that is definitely one of the aims. Like, you know, I said to you, and I've said to a number of people, I was a customer of Uptech for 15 years, dealt with the team, and, you know, like you said, that there's definitely 4 people within the business that have been there for many years, including Jason. But you've got 3 guys on the tech side that have been there for 14, 12 and 12 years, and then you've got somebody that's been there since he left school, which is nearly coming up to nearly 10 years for him. Plus you've got Gary, who's worked for Uptech and then come back. So it is a family.
Yeah.
And that, you know, what you've just said actually really resonates, because it's how we want to work. We want to work with you as a sort of an extension of your business. So, you know, we're always here for people to talk to us about what's needed, raise questions, test us. You know, we're always happy to be tested, and we're always interested to work with you and help you move more forward. You know, I know from working with you, Tim, that you probably play yourself a little bit down on what you know and what you do. Look, at the end of the day, you've told me of some software that I can use for doing my job, which I'd never even heard of, and now, you know, I'm messing around with it and using it all the time, and it's fantastic. But you understand that cheap doesn't always mean less cost. Yeah.
I mean, I think as us as a business, we kind of have that same mantra, is that we try to be value consistently, but it doesn't mean we have to be the cheapest. And I think, you know, that's just a sign of the product that we both probably offer.
Yep. Yeah, the added value that I've had with you is quite prevalent. So I'm going to go back to Valentine's Day and the meal that I got from you. I obviously have some dietary requirements, which you were able to help me out with fantastically. But the fact that they went the extra mile and made sure that anything that was gluten-free was marked up and kept separately was just fantastic, because it just made life so much easier. And I'm not used to that. I'm used to people seeing gluten-free as a problem. Chinese food. Now, where I live in Downham Market, we've got 3 Chinese restaurants, or Chinese takeaways. None of them do gluten-free.
Yeah.
And and it's only because the soy sauce is slightly more expensive.
Yeah.
Because it's the way in which it's produced. However, if I want the Chinese, I have to go to King's Lynn, and it doesn't really float my boat because they've just taken all of the flavour out of it. They do completely cook it differently,
Yeah.
whereas you were able to adapt nearly everything. So obviously, I know about the gluten-free side. I take it you can do that with almost any.
Yeah, so we
Yep.
you know, going back a couple of years, you know, it used to be seen as a problem. You know, the chefs would just sort of put their head in their hands and roll their eyes when they used to get the orders come through. Now, I guess we see it as more of a healthy challenge. So we try, gluten-free obviously is becoming huge, and it's stupid to ignore it. So when we create new dishes to go on the menu, we also try and, before they even make it on the menu, we'll try and see if it can also be automatically adapted so it's gluten-free at the start.
Yep.
Because then it just saves a lot of last-minute changes or having to do anything differently on service. So actually, I mean, the first lockdown, we had one customer locally that was gluten-free, that was using quite a lot. So we just switched it around and turned the whole menu into gluten-free. Like you say, soy sauce was different in the barbecue sauce and things like that. It was, you know, small changes, some slightly more expensive products. But
well, you say small. I've never seen a gluten-free bun as big as the one that you provided for my burger.
oh, we've even got, you know, we do like, you know, we've got some like Japanese breadcrumbs that are gluten-free. So we use like them for scampi tails and things like that. And so it's doable. It's just a bit of time and effort, and you know, storage space and things like that is obviously some places don't always have. Whereas we're quite lucky that we've got an abundance of, you know, decent sort of walk-in fridges and walk-in freezers, and we can hold a lot better stock levels perhaps of some of these things. But so we see it as a healthy challenge now. I mean, we've started adapting menus for vegan menus, obviously the gluten-free. There's a lot of dairy intolerances. So the afternoon teas that we do, we've got 5 different menus for the same afternoon tea now.
Wow.
To cover lots of all the different bases. And you know, I think in the long run, it pays to take that time to do that.
Yeah, so it is that adaptability, which is to me, it just shows that you are passionate about the business. You don't stand still. You know, one of the other ones for me is pizza. I've got to go, and lockdown has been, COVID has actually opened my eyes, because if I wanted to go out for pizza, it was either do a takeaway from Domino's or go to Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Well, the moment COVID hit, Domino's took gluten-free off their menu. Completely took gluten-free off their menu. Just went, no, we're not going to do it. We're not going to keep it. And Pizza Hut then slashed their menu in half as well. And I was like, why have they done that? And it's literally what you just said. It's storage. Gluten-free products don't keep as well. I know this from just the bread. When I used to eat it, the gluten-free bread, it goes stale in a matter of days, not weeks, you know, because of the flour that's in there, the fact it's less processed. Also because most of the gluten-free products you buy off the shelf in Tesco's are full of extra sugars, and so they haven't got the preservatives in there to keep them lasting as long. But I do really enjoy your food, and we will be back soon for some more, and we are definitely coming in as soon as we can. As soon as the restaurant is open, there is at least a group of 4 of us coming in for a meal, to be warned. But tell me a bit more about Tim. So obviously you've got the lodge is itself to you is obviously, it's not just a job, it's it's part of your life. It's you. I know where you live. You're not on site, but you're not a million miles away. But what else? What else do you do? Do you use squash courts?
Yes, yeah. So I've grown up with those squash courts. They've been open all my way. I mean, it's been sad to see they've been closed down since the very first lockdown, and we're not sure whether we're going to be able to reopen them again, but only to make way for perhaps newer things. But yeah, I've grown up with the squash club. Used to be a county player until I saw more into food and drink, which never was a good thing. But yeah, no, I was thrived on that. So that was great fun through my childhood as well as into being an adult. It was, you know, part of our social life was traveling around the county with some great team matches. Love my rugby. Always loved my rugby.
Yep.
So miss seeing some good live games. Like to get back into playing again. Hopefully, coming out of this, we'll have some more time to be able to spend on that.
We'll have to go down to West.
Yeah.
They got the veterans team. Unfortunately, I don't think either of us qualified to play the first or the second teams.
Qualified me for that. I appreciate that, James. Yeah. But yeah, no, so yeah, sport. I love my sport. I enjoy watching football. I'm not a die-hard football fan like several of our staff here are.
Yeah.
It seems to cause too many arguments to follow just one team. It's whoever I've got a bet on normally that I tend to support the most.
Yeah, so I love rugby. I haven't been to a live game for a couple of years. It's not just lockdown that's stopped that. But used to go and watch Tigers a couple of times a year. I was involved at West coaching on the youth side. But I love my international rugby.
Yeah.
And it's not been the greatest Six Nations this time round. I think there's that's that would probably be an understatement. However, it was a good performance at the weekend. But do you show live games, or is that not really your?
I mean, we have the screen there to do that. We tend to keep that more for sort of international stuff. If there's something, you know, World Cup, Six Nations, something like that that's on, then we try and make a bit of a focus on it. Obviously, it's not really a big part of our setup, but it's quite nice to have good, healthy atmosphere. We've had a few days where, you know, I remember one year there was we had like a full day of it. It was like the Wimbledon final. There was like the rowing on, and then there was a rugby match. Something. It was just it was impressive. It was, you know, you're proud to be a Brit with, you know, in these sort of three really big games. I can't think what they were, but that was a lovely day where we had people come in, had afternoon teas in front of the stand, into the big big screen in the bar there, and that was good fun. It was good. It was nice to, you know, see a different side to that business. Have a bit of character in there. So it was that was pretty cool.
It's I think, you know, I think we've been, having been in your building a few times, you've got the ability to do that, but to do it in and without wanting to alienate anybody, a slightly more sophisticated way than just going down the pub in the middle of town and watching it. You know, it's, so I get that, I understand that. I have been known to sit in a restaurant in February for one of my children's birthday meal and have sat there with the rugby on a phone watching it. I am, you know, it is one of those things. I have played, you know, if we ever get the chance, I will quite happily come and play squash with you. I'm not very good, and it is a number of years since I played, and I was a badminton player. Right. So I tend to be a little bit too wristy. But I'm quite happy to come and do that if we ever got the chance, because racket sports I do enjoy. I'm rubbish at tennis. I can't do tennis because the ball's too heavy. But
I've,
yeah, I
I've always
enjoyed
got
squash.
I think the way you hit the ball, I end up sort of sending it across to the next county rather
Yeah.
than keeping it on the court. But yeah.
But is there? I know you and I have had a few chats about my fascination with red wine and a good Chianti or a really nice Argentinian Malbec. They're two. They are kind of my go-tos, and that comes from the dietary side of things because gluten-free beers are not great, and for years they were, there was one option,
Yeah,
or there was no option. So I kind of got into drinking red wine, and I will quite happily sit there and have that with my meal, and I'm so looking forward to getting out and being able to do that. So what does the future hold for yourself then, Tim, and for Crown Large? You got ideas for expansion, or?
Yes, we're going to go this year. I hope we're going to try and get the site a little bit tidied up and prettied up. We've obviously the last couple of years we've been working on the new bedrooms, so we're hoping to just finish off the whole surrounding areas. We've got a little bit of land around the back where we'll hopefully develop that into a more purposeful car parking area, and then we're going to try and convert the current car park into something a little bit more interesting. We can't tell you a lot about that one yet, but it's some exciting plans there that will sit in well with us as a business, and offer a great service. So there's that to look forward to. And obviously we've got the gym, which we're really pleased to be a part of if that can happen, and it looks like it will. So maybe July, August time, we'll start seeing the open dates for that to come through. And then it's just a case of working the business into every angle that we know fits as well. I think actually going through COVID as well, it's helped us redefine and reassess what our priorities are of how to make the business work, and so we're kind of really hungry now to get back into it and really focus on being the things that we know that we are and we should be. So yeah, look forward to that.
No, that's good to hear. There was something you said, and I really should write stuff down as it comes into my head, because there was something you just said, and it made me think of a question I wanted to ask. But so, in regards to is there anything you'd like to ask me? Is there anything that I'm going to dive in and go, is there anything that I could do better for you? Be open. Don't at the end of the day, I've always said to you, and I always say this to everybody can talk openly and honest to me. You don't have to hold back. I'm big enough and ugly enough to take it on the chin and deal with it. And I have to own it. So I think we've got most of your stuff dealt with to this point. I'm looking forward to seeing where things go and working with you on that. But is there anything that I could do better, or what is it that works great working with me?
I don't think there's anything that I would change. We can all sit here and say slash your prices, but we just said about how important it is to keep your prices where they are. So I'm not going to say that. You guys offer a great service, and at the end of the day, you're on the end of the phone and responsive. I like how we've got the system set up now, where we haven't got to worry about picking up the phone and thinking, "Oh God, is this going to cost?" Or should we try and solve a problem first and muddle through it, or not? The minute there's an issue, we pick up the phone and it gets looked at. That's simplicity of it. Everything works. We're safe and secure. And if we have any questions, I've got you to private message through LinkedIn or through an email, and then I've got the support on the phone as required. So I guess going back, before I kind of think what setup we had previously, but you sometimes fell down the traps of, perhaps we didn't have the support after certain hours or at the weekends or whatever, and suddenly we had a problem and we kind of, well, can you not help us? And to get that response then to go, well, you're not really covered, so I can't really help. That's where we prefer to be where we are now, because we've just got a complete package that looks after every need without having to worry about it, and it's value. It's value.
Yeah. Thank you, Tim. That's really nice to hear. And I always throw it out and go, and say, because at the end of the day, I always want to learn, and without much getting this into James wanting to be a mentor to anybody, I didn't used to. I was stuck in a rut for decades, not learning, just doing what I did. The past couple of years, I have really just, the amount of things that I've taken on and I've learned have been great. So I always ask people, what is there anything that I could do? Because it's that learning process.
Yeah.
For me. So when are you thinking of opening? Are you going to do anything around this whole 12th of April?
Well, because we do our takeaway service anyway, so yep. we're open sort of 7 days a week for that.
And I've seen you've got some of the rooms. You've got people in some rooms, haven't you?
Yes, we've got Ministry of Defence staying with us at the moment, which has been great to have them on board, and then just a few local companies that come by that are working in the area. So they've kept us ticking over, which has been really helpful. It's only just started coming back, but glad to welcome it. But we're always going to have a small team on duty. It's hard to gauge with us not having the weather in April to guarantee. It's just so hard to really be able to predict what the best way forward is. Yeah. I think we're just going to leave a lot of it to the last minutes, as far as we'll be ready for it. If the weather's great, we'll staff up and we'll push it a bit harder. But otherwise, we've got some outside space, we've got some covered space. If it's pouring with rain and someone wants to brave it and come and have a beer with a mate or a meal with a wife, then there's space there to do it, and we've got the staff to accommodate. So we'll just kind of react as we can to the numbers that come through. Yeah. Our main focus is going to be the May Day. So 17th of May will be our kind of our big relaunch. We're going to have an exciting new menu that we'll put out at the beginning of May. So that'll be quite an interesting sort of twist on some of the stuff that we've been doing through lockdown. Bringing some old stuff back that we might have lost, that we couldn't do as takeaway services. But yeah, so there'll be lots to shout about in May about the big opening.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, look forward to that.
I will be there for that, and I will. That you can always tag me and let me share it to those that follow, because I'm always there to help. And yeah, I suppose the 12th of April is a weird one, because like you said, that our weather is pretty inclement until May time.
Yeah.
But however, it would still be really nice to get along and just have a drink and be sociable. Which you can't really do in Downham. Because yes, we have I'm going to swear, I'm sorry, but we have Wetherspoons. Yeah. However, there's a prime example, Tim, of someone that in my eyes has gone backwards. So they don't do gluten-free food anymore, because he decided that because it meant having a separate prep area, and he needed an extra fryer, and he needed to be cleaning tools more regularly, that it was easier just to take it off the menu. So they got gluten-free beer, and they do wine, but they literally took anything gluten-free wise off the menu other than the crisps.
Right.
But for all intents and purposes, it is a Wetherspoons. Yes, they've got a big beer garden, but that's going to be full. I know that's going to be full. 12th of April, that will be full. Why do I want to go in there? I'd much prefer to either wait or go somewhere where I know I'm going to get the service.
Yeah.
And also I can buy you a drink then as well. So which I look forward to. So the conferencing side of things, you've done that previously. You're looking forward to getting that back as well?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We're looking at really, I think we stood still for a long time in the conferencing, which is unlike us, but I think, I mean, we took the plunge recently to throw our overhead projectors in the skip, as I think they are well and truly a thing of the past. So we're reinvesting in, big sort of 65-inch plasma screen TVs to go in the conference room, big sort of 2 meter wide drop down screens for projectors, high definition short throw screens, the opportunity to probably be able to do Skype and Zooming, and what have you in there as for smaller meetings, to be able to Zoom to bigger teams on the bigger screens, as well as just offering the good level of service that we've always done with great conferencing needs great food. And that's we're always confident of that as well. So
I brought it up because it's one of those things that you actually brought to us. You asked me the question about the conferencing equipment, and you asked us about doing it because you were the person that said to me, when we get opened back up, my clients are not necessarily going to want to bring all of their staff to us for the conference because people will be too far away. It will be better and easier for them to be able to view it on their laptop. So you are aware of, and this is why I say that you know more than you think, because the way that your brain works and the people that you've got around you, I know that you're constantly looking for improvement. So you said to me you'd got clients that come along for a conference. You thought that actually it might be a case of might need a TV at the end of the horseshoe with those other members on that, whilst everyone else in the room can see the presentation, everything else. Is that kind of still where you're looking at going? Yeah.
I think it's to offer the flexibility, and we're trying to simplify it. So even in amongst ourselves, we will sort of, you ask different members of staff, you might get a different answer of what we did and what we offered and what the prices were, and everyone's all a little bit convoluted, whereas we've tried to streamline it. It's a set price per head. It'll be a sort of a day delegate rate that just includes all equipment as required. You'll have a dedicated conference organizer that's there for the whole day, that sees every step through, and oversees any requirements, dietary requirements. They're there to make sure it happens, and it's done to a standard. Even to the point where we've got, like each conference room will have its own sort of fresh ground coffee machine in the room. So
now you're talking.
Just good quality coffee. We don't have to wait until a certain time. There's no limit to how much coffee they can drink. They can drink as much as they want. And it's just, the idea is, it's just, there'll be a few little touches in there as well that will make what we do a real centerpiece. So hopefully everyone attending the conference can walk away really engaged and kind of be like, oh yeah, we're back at the Crown for a conference next week, and they look forward to that as a positive, not think, God, where are we going to next, and is it going to be a horrendous day? They can at least look forward to the niceties that hopefully we can offer. So yeah, it's we're excited to put some good stuff out there.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say hopefully. Again, I'm not blowing smoke. The first time I came and met you, I sat down in the bar area. We had a coffee. We had a good chat about what we were looking to do, what it was that you wanted to achieve. The coffee was brilliant. the atmosphere in there was, it was relaxed, but it was also just, I was going to say professional, but it's probably not quite the right word. But it was sophisticated.
Mhm.
It wasn't just a restaurant trying to fill seats or anything like that. You were doing it in really, really good way. So I would say, anybody that when this is over and done, and we get to April or May, if you want to go somewhere and sit down and have a nice drink or a nice meal that is in a great location. Like when I came to see you, the sun was out, you've got the river in front of you. It's just almost picturesque, isn't it? It's lovely.
Yeah,
So if you want something like that, yours is the place to go.
good to hear.
On that note, Tim, I'm going to call an end to this one.
Sure.
We'll get this out. That'll be out. So everyone, this should be Thursday. So everyone should see this now. If you've got any questions for either myself or for Tim, put them in the comments, or drop me an email and I can put you in touch with Tim. But thank you very much. And I will see you all soon. And I'll speak to you soon, Tim.
Thanks a lot. Great.